Hi there, Kevin from KTech Services here, Embroidery 101 educational videos. Today I'm going to be talking about cataloging your embroidery design files in a Windows 10 environment. Some customers have expressed to me about what do I do about all my stock designs? I want to categorize them in my own way and stuff like that. And is there a program for this? And unfortunately, there really isn't today wise. But actually, you can actually do this in Windows environment. I'm basically what I'm going to show you here is basically how you would do it in Windows 10. Um, like if you have a bunch of CDs of stock embroidery designs, and obviously you probably are aware that a lot of stock designs are just numbers and stuff like that, depending on the stock design company, because they have thousands beyond thousands of and stuff like that. Usually it's a book or something like that, and to go search for it, you look for the number and then you just kind of bring it up. But if you want to make your own cataloging of your own files and to search for them and stuff like that a lot easier, you can definitely do that, which I'm going to basically show you here real quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring up Design Shop here. And I'm just going to do a new and stuff like that. Obviously, you'll have them on a CD and stuff like that. So you go ahead and pop in that CD, let's say, or whatever your files are in. Well, the example that I'm going to show you today are just going to be like 3 pumpkins and stuff like that, and how we're going to go about making our own system in database indexing system and stuff like that. Okay. So basically, real quick, I'm just going to do File and I'm going to do Open and stuff like that. And that'll bring up the standard Microsoft dialog box here. And the looking is what we're actually after here. So in this example, I'm just going to do the drop down, which basically is going to open up here. And normally you're going to look for your CD in most cases and stuff like that, because your stock designs are usually on a CD, and you'll click on that. Now with this and stuff like that, make sure you get a pad of paper, because obviously you already know that there's a lot of designs, and this can be very tedious. But if you work on it what I would do, work on it a little bit a day, 10 or 15 designs are how many that you can handle and stuff like that. Because right now you need to get them off the CD, and then you need to kind of rename them, because usually that's a number, and you can't really index by a number, or unless you know the number. But in this case, to name it, so then of course then you're going to want to categorize them a little bit easier, which you can do, which I'm going to show you. But so this case, if you do like 10 or 15 a day, you won't go crazy and stuff like that. But whatever, how many you can stomach. But you'll eventually get through it, and then you'll have a very satisfying database of your files. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to go up to C drive, and I'm going to go to the Melco folder, or the design folder here. So these are all the stock designs that Melco puts in there, but I already put a couple of pumpkin files in there, and I put and I numbered them. They're basically the same file, but it's actually I just colored them a little bit differently. So what you would do in this case, you would go ahead and load these up, and then rename them into Melco's language if they're not in Melco's language. And then obviously from that point, it'll be a lot easier to index or search as you're searching for what you're after or your customer is looking for and stuff like that, database wise. Okay. So now in Windows and stuff like that, now I'm going to actually want to load all 3 of these files. So if I left click on my mouse on the first file, that'll show the pumpkin there, and actually this one and then this one. Okay, so I want to load all 3 of these. So a quick, fast, if I want to learn all 3 of these at the same time, I highlight the first one, and then with my shift key on my keyboard, I go ahead and click on the 15257, and now they're all blue. And then if I click open, all 3 of these are actually open at the same time. Now that's for the shift. Now granted, that's if they're all in the same. If I click off it, I'll just go to the one, because I deselected is what I did. Now, if I want, that's cool, because all 3 of these are in the same area. But let's say I wanted this one and these 3 files here. So I clicked on that one, but I want these files too. Now, of course, if I do a shift key and do the 257, oh shoot, it actually, see, it highlights all of them. Well, I didn't want that. So you just click off it once and you actually deselect it. Well, I want this one, but then I want these 3. The control key on your keyboard. Hold down the control key and then actually tag each one you want. See, now I'm actually going to load just these 4 files, okay? Because control is let's say it selects one at a time, or deselects one at a time. Shift key will actually like select all of them that if they're all in a row. Okay, if you get that. So obviously click off once, then now it's just the one selected. So in this case it's easy because they're all three in a row, and I can hold shift and I can click the last one and now they're all there. But you can't do that if I only want certain files. Control key is actually going to be an easier way. I'm holding the control key right now and I'm actually hitting each. Whoop, I don't want that one. So I want that one. Control key. I just I clicked with that. Well, control, click, click, click. Okay, and that's that. Those are three that I want. So hopefully you understand that. And I'm going to open these. And now it's actually going to open up in design. All three of them are going to actually open up in Design Shop. But again, as I mentioned, they're all in different colors. If you go to the window folder, you'll see them. They're all three right here. Now the project, just so you know, that's nothing. So I'm just going to click on that and file and close. So now if I go to the window folder again, now I see the three folders, three files. Okay. So obviously that's the one that's done in orange. And this one I did in a little tan, I think, and then beige, and then window, and then obviously blue. Okay, so these are the three files I'm going to save in our new database. Okay, folder or file folder, depending on where you want to do that in. Okay, so we're going to go with the first one, which is the orange. Now, here's the thing. Now this is obviously, if you have other file formats and stuff like that. Now, granted, we're saving an OFM, which actually retains the color information. Some of your CDs and stuff like that are not going to be in Melco's language. They're going to be in another embroidery format. Tajima DST, Melco Expanded maybe, PES or Husqvarna or something like that. Now, those files are actually just stitch files and stuff like that, and they do not retain color information. So when you load those up, they might not be. Let's pretend this one here. It's obviously not the right colors. I mean, it just comes up in a generic way. That's what those stitch files actually do. Now, once we do what we're going to do now, we're going to say, if you want to spend the time and actually recolorize this, if I could come over here and highlight that color and I want that to be orange, I can click on that. Now it's actually the right color. Now that I save this, I'm going to save this new file to a new name and stuff like that under the OFM extension. The Melco OFM extension retains the color information, which is what's key for a lot of people and stuff like that. So in this case, I'm going to go File, Save As, and obviously the last thing that Windows remembers what we were on the design folder. In your case, it might be the CD-ROM of your stock design CD. So we need to actually switch this. So we need the drop down, and what we're going to do in this example, depending on where you want to save your files, onto your hard drive, into your documents folder, or some folder in the C drive. In this case, we're going to just use a flash drive. I have a gigabyte flash drive, and I recommend probably doing this. The embroidery files are not hugely memory hungry and stuff like that. So if you get a large 8 GB flash drive or something like that, you're going to be plenty. Or maybe you want to get a terabyte external drive or something like that. Put the files on there and stuff like that. Just the only thing is I have to stress is to make sure you do backups of it. You don't want to go all through this and then something happens to the flash drive and you don't have a backup of it. Quick story, I had a customer that literally was in an older building and the pipes burst in the back and flooded the whole back. She literally lost everything and she had to start over because she didn't have backups. So I do a lot of that stuff. You can email me privately or something like that. Any suggestions? I build computers and file systems for people and stuff like that. Cloud service is going to be the best and stuff like that. Just redundance is the key. Just make sure you have backups everywhere and stuff like that. In case something happens, you can actually get your files and stuff like that. So in this case, we're just going to do USB. So I'm going to click on that, and that's actually, there's nothing in there. I have nothing on the drive right now. So as you build this, you'll start having, now what I would do is actually build folders and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how to do the first one. So right here, this one with the folder with the little red star is actually create, and the balloon help tells you what it is, to create new folders. So I'm going to click on that. So basically, new folder. So it's blue, so I can actually start typing right now. So I'm going to actually call it pumpkins. Okay, and I'm going to press enter on the keyboard to close it, and voila. Okay, now it's highlighted right now. So just so you know, I'm actually not in the folder yet. Okay, I'm still in the flash drive section. So to get into this, either I double click on this or I go to the open here, and now I'm actually in the folder called pumpkins, because now what I want to do is I want to save this file into there, but I don't want it to be the name. Okay, so obviously that's blue. So on your keyboard, you can actually hit backspace, and then I can start typing in my name. So pumpkin one. Okay, that's what the name, what I want to name it. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click save. Okay, so I actually saved that file. So I'm actually done. So I can actually do a file and close and get rid of that. So now I have the next one. Okay, it's got a little darker orange, but that's cool. We'll go with that. So we'll go to File, Save As. Okay. Now the cool thing here is it remembers what I did. So and in this case we're doing all pumpkins, so it makes it a little bit easier. But in the other cases, if it's something different, then obviously I gotta search through the folders that I have. Maybe you have leaves, or if you have cars, or anything like that, or fire department, or something like that. Basically, you have your own folders. You have to just find your folder where you actually want to put the new file into. Okay. But in this case, we're just going to do the same thing. So what's cool about this is because it's a number, but if I click on this over here, that's already the first one we actually saved. See how it changed over here? But I don't want to save it because I'm actually going to save on top of that one. But if I click over here, now highlight, I'm going to left click again on my mouse, and that's going to put the cursor, and then I can actually do the backspace and actually put the number 2. It just, this way it just kind of saves me from retyping pumpkins again. Okay, so I did that, and then I go ahead and I had the color, and then I go ahead and click save. And that's going to retain that color now. So I'm done. So I can do a file and close and do the last one. Okay, so I'm going to do File, Save As. Okay, now again, I can just click on that one again, and then click here twice, left click, and then left click, and then backspace, and make it number 3, and voila. Okay, so I did my 10. I just did my 15 designs of the day. I'm kind of done. So those 3 files are actually saved and in the system and everything like that, which is cool. Okay, so we'll just kind of minimize. Hi all. I just wanted to add this insert in here. So if you don't, I mean, obviously when we're doing the pumpkins and stuff like that, we'll always keep going back in the same folder. But let's say you had a star here or something like that. So obviously we're going to go save as, but then obviously the last ones I've been saving were the pumpkins. Now, obviously you'll have other folders and stuff like that on here. In case you don't, you do not here, but the drop down. Just go to the drop down and go to and make sure you hit the stock designs here, and then of course now you'll see all the folders, and that's what you would add another folder, stars and stuff like let's say, or something like that, and then there double click on that one to get into it and stuff like that. And then you can actually save this file stars into that folder and stuff like that. That's basically how you would actually because obviously you don't want to save this into the pumpkins folder. You want to save that into the either a folder you have already in there, or you want to create a new one. But to do that, again, you have to click onto the stock design. So as you see, you usually will start seeing all the folders listed there and stuff like that. If you don't, if you don't see it, then you basically will create a new one. I just wanted to point that out to you guys, because obviously if you keep on doing remember, Windows always remembers the last thing that you're on, so it's always going to keep opening up in pumpkins. So I just wanted to kind of show you that little trick there. So you need to go into the look in here, and then literally look at the flash drive is what we're doing, and that literally will bring, it's like you're stepping back to the main menu in a sense. So then you can start doing a new folder, or you can go find the folder that you already created as you're doing these things. Okay, thanks. Just make sure you do a backup of it. Back up your files. I'm really back up as I'm crazy about that. So obviously this is a folder. Obviously you would have multiple folders here possibly with names or whatever, like I mentioned before. But in this case, pumpkin. So if I double click on this, it basically is going to list the 3 files that I just saved from my CD into my new database. Those are all set, ready to go, which is so cool. Another thing that I want to kind of show you real quick here is the view and stuff like that. Right now they're all set to details. Okay, I can obviously small icons is the same thing. I can have it large icons, I can have extra large, I can have medium. Now just so you know, whatever you leave it on and do something, Windows remembers whatever you do last. Okay, so to get it to stay on medium icons or large icons, Um, just so you know, you can actually double click on any of these and it actually will load it into Design Shop. So by doing that, I actually now made Windows Explorer remember what picture or what size I want it, medium, large, or whatever. So obviously that loaded up, and just so you know that long as now of course with Windows, when you load Design Shop, it should have the file extension. So when you double click on it, it knows to actually load into Design Shop. Now, if that doesn't happen, I'll probably have to do another video on this later on. Some cases that the file extensions might get screwed up or something like that, but normally it should work just fine and know that it's an embroidery file and to load it into Design Shop. But if you have multiple software packages on your system and stuff like that, it'll get confused which program to go to. So you have to kind of, but I'll make that another video down the road. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that. Now, it'll remember that I want large icons on there. Okay, so now for indexing, now obviously when you search for something, you probably can make it just as easy when you pop in this flash drive and just go through the folder and kind of look, okay, I want to look at all the pumpkins and stuff like that. You also could do a search if you want to, as long as you're in the Windows Explorer and you have it plugged in and you see this search stock designs E. If you click on there, do a flashing cursor. Now, I could put the letter, I could type, no, with Windows Explorer, whatever you type in there, it actually will search what you type. Okay, just think of it that way. And if I put the letter P, and then if I do the arrow to search, it's going to search everything with the letter P. As you see right here, it actually brought up everything with P. Now, obviously you'll have more files on there. Now, it literally is going to bring up everything with the letter P. Okay, so, you know, granted, it's going to bring up probably not what you're looking for, but it's kind of a way to kind of go, hey, I want to, you know, because you're the one that's actually going to be naming what you want it to be, and so, so then when you search it, you'll kind of know exactly what basically to put in there, and it literally would do that. Now I can actually type in pump, and it's as you see here, it literally went through all the files and looked for that had pump in there. Now, granted, there's other letters, but it actually you're telling it, say, hey, bring up everything with the letter P and P in there. Okay, you get that. Now, because if you type pumpkins, you know, and actually do a search, it's just going to actually bring up the folder because obviously the other ones are called pumpkins. So it's really looking what. Now, granted, I can double click on this and it literally is going to show me what's involved or what's saved into that folder. Okay. So obviously that's pretty much in a nutshell. So obviously you just keep on going and knocking your files out, and eventually you'll get your database pretty much set and stuff like that. So I hope this was helpful for you and stuff like that. Pretty much give me a like on YouTube on this video, so I'll be doing more. All I ask is for these videos that I'm going to be doing in the future is check out my website if you need any needles. I'll be adding new supplies as I go. I'm going to be adding some new stuff in the future and stuff like that, and going to be doing more videos on educational embroidery 101. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you guys soon.